In this episode of Tech Expose, we are going to be taking a look at the Draymond Green Show, hosted by Draymond Green. If you're not familiar with him, he's a four-time NBA champion, current active NBA player, and also an active podcaster. He's also been seen on media coverage, prime media coverage as well. So he is very versed in being on camera and being behind the microphone. I want to take a look at two different setups that he's using. One is his stationary setup, and I'm going to assume it's at his home. But the other setup that I really want to take a look at is the podcast on the road setup, because I think a lot of creators are traveling and need an easy way to create content on the road. So let's first take a look at this podcasting setup. So let's get started and let's listen to Draymond Green as he kind of talks about the situation that he's in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. I am here in San Antonio in between games. You know, it's this funny thing, man, when you travel so much. I was just about to say I'm here in OKC. Sometimes, like, I'll be in a hotel and, like, go to a room and I'll be putting my key up to the door and it doesn't quite work. And then I'll go downstairs like, yo, my key not working. And they're like, what room are you in? I'm in 1014. And they're like, no, what's your name on the room? And I tell the name, and they're like, oh man, you're in 706. And I'm like, that was from the last city. But anyway, that is why my setting is different again. For those that say, man, why is his setting always changing? That is why.
He just explained to us where he's at. He's in between games and he's recording his podcast. Now, Draymond Green definitely has an advantage over a lot of content creators where he has already built a platform and a name for himself. So anyone that follows basketball or the NBA and sports probably already knows who he is. He definitely is someone that a lot of people listen to and respect as well. So he has a little advantage when it comes to getting people to actually listen to his podcast. But what I want to take away from this is the fact that he is actively traveling. And so let's take a look at what he's using to travel with, okay? So as we can see, he's in the hotel room. And now if you notice when he was speaking, and we'll go back to him speaking, you might notice that there is vibration on the camera. It's shaking up and down when he's talking. Now, this lets me assume that he's probably using a laptop, and the laptop is just not on an even surface. So for those people that are using a laptop and we don't have the advantage of, just being able to come to a podcast with our name, definitely consider making sure that your equipment is on a stable platform. There are travel tripods that we can actually use for our camera, or if we're using our laptop, we want to put some books underneath it or something that just gives it a little bit more stability so it's not shaking up and down. One of the things that I've learned in working with churches and ministries is about camera movement. And I used to have someone that used to walk on the stage back and forth constantly, and she would not stop. She would go from left to right and left to right and left to right, and it would really make me sick watching it. So be mindful that people that are watching your content, certain movements or certain light strobes, things like that, can also be a distraction in a podcast. All right. So the camera does not look like a 4K camera. So again, it's probably a laptop camera. There are alternatives out there to improve the overall visual quality. But for someone like him that is on the road, the last thing I'm sure he wants to think about is bringing gear with him, and being able to record the content and get it out there is priority. So making sure that you identify your priorities is also something you need to consider when choosing your gear. Now, the background itself here, lighting looks like we're probably may use a travel light with us. Not a lot of lighting going on here. As we can see, there is a lot of just space where we could actually bring in some RGB lights, just throw them in the background, and give a little bit of color to that room to separate him from the backdrop. If you notice here in this particular video, he is wearing a gray shirt and is matching with those gray curtains. And one thing that I like to do, especially in our environments that we can control, is to create separation from the background. So one of the ways that we can do that is wearing a different color shirt or having some light break through that. Okay. Again, he's traveling, so He may not be bringing this with him, but for those of us that are looking for how can we improve the visual aesthetics of our content so that hopefully more people can come and watch us, these are some things to consider. Now, we take a look at the microphone that he's using down here in the bottom, and he's going quality. He's using the Shure MV6 microphone, which is is usually geared toward gamers. So I'm not sure if he's a gamer, but that's who it is geared for. Quality microphone. Shure microphones has been around for 100 years. Actually celebrated 100 years this year. So he's using quality audio. So if we take away the camera quality, if we take away the lighting quality, the audio quality is something that he's not compromising on. And that's what I would encourage for anyone that's doing anything audio related, especially a podcast, is you don't want to compromise on the audio. So shout out to Draymond for using quality audio in this setup. All right. Now, some other little features and things that you can always think about when it comes to your podcast design and setup, it's just some of the things in the background. Now, obviously, this is a hotel room. He mentioned that. But if you do have some control over your space, you're also thinking about pictures. Here on the side, he has a TV. If you want to have a little visual on the TV, maybe you have an extra computer or even like a little mini PC these days, you can actually put a logo or something on the computer screen there. Now, what is interesting about this side of the screen is the fact that he does have his branding up here along with the sponsorship, right? So for those that are a little bit more technical and have the time to do so, you actually could just put the branding and the logo here. It'd be a little bit bigger on screen. I'm sure the sponsors would appreciate the more visibility, but that's also something you can do with having a TV there. And then if we look on the right hand side, we also see that we do have a chair back there, just to have something else in the background so it's not so flat and so plain back there. But really cool to see how an active NBA player is traveling and still able to create content at the same time. Let's switch over to look at his stationary setup that he's using. And Draymond has, I've been following his podcast from very early on. So he's actually changed microphones. He used to use the Shure SM58 microphone and actually used to hold it all the time. So he has changed the setup a little bit. I won't say upgraded because the Shure 58 SM58s are great microphones. I have one right here myself that I use from time to time. So they're really great microphones. But this is the setup that really confirmed for me what he was using microphone wise. As we can see here in this setup, there's there's the MV6 right here, right? So nice microphone, quality microphone. And one of the things that I like about this particular one is the fact that it is a USB microphone. So that allows him to just take the one cable and plug it directly into his computer and get the quality audio. He's not fooling around with XLR cables, external audio interfaces, anything like that. It's one cable that goes from the microphone into his laptop, and he's good to go. Now, one thing he's not using on here, which I would definitely recommend in most settings, is to use wired headphones. I believe this microphone does have a headphone jack. I will put the link to these episodes that I'm showing you in the description section, along with an idea list of the equipment if you want to check all of that out. But I would recommend a wired headphones, especially for those days you forget to charge your earbuds. They could go out and then you're losing audio, especially if you're doing an interview type of thing. Now, right here in this setting, he's not doing an interview with someone, so there is no need necessary to wear them unless you want to monitor your own audio. So even recording this video, I'm not wearing any type of headphones or earbuds to monitor my own audio. So it's not a requirement for a solo podcast. But if you are doing an interview on a Zoom conference and you need to hear the other person, you obviously need headphones on. wired are just the best way to go. That way you don't have to worry about any type of delays. You don't have to worry about the battery draining on them randomly, them falling out your ear, you're losing one or something like that, right? So you could go wired. But we do see he is wearing wireless headphones here. Not really sure what these are. I've watched a few episodes, haven't been able to quite identify what these earbuds and headphones are that he's wearing. I'm sure they're high quality, if he's gone high quality on the microphone. Now, we can see the cable here. Now, if you are doing this from a more structured environment, there are ways like we saw in his travel setup where the microphone is just out of frame so you don't see the cable, or kind of make the cable management a little cleaner, little things. But for those of us that don't have the clout that can bring an audience, little things matter. Now, here's the one thing I would suggest to Draymond to change from personal experience. It is going to be this boom arm, okay? I do not like these boom arms, and the culprit is the spring mechanism. I have literally almost taken out my eye because of these spring-loaded microphone arms. So I do not like these. These are typically budget options. I would definitely go with a more upgraded version of a microphone arm. He's already using a Shure microphone. Shure makes a boom arm. I'm actually using one of their boom arms for it. So if you're using quality audio, quality boom arms, don't underestimate using a quality boom arm in your setup. Okay. That would be my definitely one recommendation changing there. I'm going to go with the camera. It looks like he's using the same camera that he was using earlier, just has better lighting in this environment. So lighting definitely makes the image look better. I would venture to say he's probably using the same camera here. So in a studio environment or home podcast environment, you could definitely upgrade the camera there, have a little bit higher quality. And on the background, we do see that he is with his guys here. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson here. So we have the image back there. And then we have another picture here on the right-hand side. Now, what's really cool about this setup, and you don't see it a lot, is the fact that he is actually using the corner of this room here. So if you look here, this is the corner of a room. It's where two walls are coming together, right? That's a pretty cool place to create a visual element for video. Now, again, don't know the space. We're just doing what we know from the visuals, what we can see here. But if he has more space and he can come off that wall some more, he can push that desk up some more. It really creates a cool aesthetic when you put maybe a plant on the side. So we could actually put something here to cover up the space, a little bit more design element here in the room. But coming up off that wall, he could definitely create that depth of field as well. Maybe some RGB lighting in the background. It doesn't have to be heavy RGB lighting, but enough to kind of get rid of the tan and bland color of the wall. But again, Draymond Green, really his name precedes him when he shows up online. But as we go through these different episodes of how we can make modifications or upgrades or just get ideas and inspiration from other content creators, this is definitely one of the first ones I wanted to do because I'm a fan of Draymond Green and I've followed him for a majority of his NBA career. Now he's a content creator, diving all into it. And here is just one of the aspects of being a content creator. He has over 200,000 subscribers on this channel, brand deals and sponsorships as well. So we have Texposed the Draymond Green Show. Let me know in the comments section who we should Texpose next. I'm looking forward to going through a whole bunch of content creators, some of the top content creators in the world, and showing you a little bit of the setups and how we can get some ideas from it and what are they using, the things that they are using to create content that's reaching millions of people around the world.